Sodanandana Prahladananda Jaya Prahladananda Yamuna Dhiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Dhiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopidana Balaba Grivardari Jaya Grivardari Gopidana Balaba Grivardari Jaya Grivardari Sodanandana Prahladananda Jaya Prahladananda Sodanandana Prahladananda Jaya Prahladananda Yamuna Dhiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Dhiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhans Prabhidakacharya Asadhara Sudushi Sriman His Divine Grace Shalasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari. All glories to the sound devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Dhanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskatyade Siddharne. Om Agyanat Varandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagardatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shiva Sakans Vitams Cha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Trubhyascha Kripa Sinubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudhi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'm going to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 9, Chapter 19, text number 15. Yadana kurute bhavam sarabhuteshva mangalam samadritesh tata pumsa sarva sukhamaya dishaha. Yadana kurute bhavam sarvuteshva mangalam samadritesh tata pumsa sarva sukhamaya disha. Iravam sarvuteshva mangalam samadritesh tata pumsam sarva sukhamaya disha. Yadana krute danam sarvuteshva mangalam Avitetam Avusam Avutiragamaya Disha. Ten Kurte Bhavam Sarvabhuteshva Mangalam Samardrite Tata Pumsa Sarva Sukhamaya Disha Hidate Kurute Bhavam Sarvabhuteshva Mangalam Sarvabhute Tata Pumsa Sarvadukha Maya Disha. Ladies? Sarvabhuteshvala Mangalam Sarvaditesh Tata Pumsa Sarvasukha Maya Disha. Ladies? Hidate Kurte Bhavam Sarvabhuteshvala Mangalam Sarvadrite Tata Pumsam Sarvasukha Maya Disha Hidana Kurute Bhavam Sarvabhuteshvala Mangalam Sarvatrite Tata Pumsam Sarvasukha Maya Disha. Yada. When? Na. Not. Kurute. Does. Bhavam. A different attitude of attachment or envy. Sarvabhuteshu, to all living entities. Amangalam, inauspicious. Samadrishte, because of being equipoised. Hada, at that time. Pungsaha, of the person. Sarva, all. Sukhamaya, and a happy condition. Dishaha, directions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When a man is not envious and does not desire ill fortune for anyone, he is equipoised. For such a person, all directions appear happy. Please repeat. When a man is non-envious and does not desire ill fortune for anyone, he is equipoised. For such a person, all directions appear happy. Purport. Prahladananda Saraswati said, Vishvam Purna Sukhayate. When one becomes Krishna conscious by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, for him the entire world appears happy, and he has nothing for which to hanker. On the Brahmabhuta stage, or the platform of spiritual realization, there is no lamentation and no material hankering. It is shoshiti nakangshiti. As long as one lives in the material world, actions and reactions will continue, but when one is unaffected by such material actions and reactions, he is to be considered free from the danger of being victimized by material desires. The symptoms of those who are satiated with lusty desires are described in this verse. As explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when one is not envious even of his enemy and does not expect honor from anyone, but instead desires well-being even for his enemy, he is understood to be a paramahamsa, one who has truly subdued the lusty desires of sense gratification. The text again, Nidana krute bhavam sarvabhuteshva mangalam samadrishte chita punsa sarva sukha maya ptishaha. When a man is not envious and does not desire ill fortune for anyone, he is equipoised. For such a person, all directions appear happy. Namo Vishnu Viraya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paschatyate Satarane. Prabhupada quotes from the famous verse by Prahladananda Swami. Kaivalyam Narakayate Tri Dasha Akasha Pushpayate Dordantendriya Kala Sarpa Patali Prokata Damstrayate Vishvam Purna Sukayate Vidi Mahendritis Chakitayate Yakuruna Vaibhavam Vitam Tam Goram Eva Stumaha. So, there's a consistency in our philosophy. So this Vishvam Purna Sukhayate corresponds to Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, becoming joyful. Prabhupada said in one lecture, if one is feeling morose, that's simply the sign of Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said, means to be jolly. And he started to laugh a little bit, chuckle. Just like if one is in prison for many, many years and suddenly they let you free, they let the person free, then at once he feels some joyfulness. This prasanatma or Vishvam Purna Sukhayate is the freedom from shoshati and kangshati. Everyone is hankering or worried about what's going to happen in the future. Because we know what's going to happen in the future. We're all going to die. There's nothing as sure as death. But people are anxiety that they may die today rather than tomorrow. As if they die today, it's going to be a miserable death, but tomorrow will be a glorious death. So everyone is an anxiety about the future, and of course the past never exactly turned out the way we thought it should. We'd like to go back in the past and rearrange everything. So we got 100 on every test and a gold star in every page. But that's not the way things work. So this shoshati, kangshati, what is it about? Kaivalya narakayate. Getting free ultimately from the miseries of material existence. Everyone is hankering. Or as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarva Lokamahesharam Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. Generally speaking, there are three modes of nature, and in the mode of ignorance, we're thinking ourselves to be the controller of the material nature, just like it says, Dordantendriya Kalasapa. Dordantendriya Kalasarpa Patali Prokate Damstrayate. That the yogis are trying to become the controllers of the material energy, because material nature keeps on changing all the time. And as I said, the changers are not exactly what we want. We'd like to grow younger every day, but it doesn't work like that. Generally speaking, most people grow older every day. We'd like to become free from all distress and disease, but generally these things are not possible, especially in old age. We'd like to reverse death, and after the birth, there's no more death, like Hiranyakashipu. He stood on the tip of his toes for 120 years of the demigods in order to become immortal. He went so far, so tolerant, that even when the ants and the moths and the insects were eating his body, he remained calm, undisturbed, meditating on something. And even they ate his brains, he was undisturbed. Of course, as I said before, if he had any brains, he wouldn't be standing in that position for so long anyhow. But since they ate his brains, he kept on at it. Ultimately, his attempt was to become the controller of material nature, but he never really made it. He could not even control one atom in the universe. He just thought He had some mental conception that Brahma has given me benedictions and this will stop death. Because as we know, he developed an acute stomach problem and then died. So that's the nature of the material existence. That everyone is trying to reverse the material energy, control it, but the material nature is not controlled by anyone except for Krishna. And on the other hand, Kaivalya Narakayate, everyone wants free, the Akasha Pushpayate, that flower in the sky, that this Kaivalya Narakayate, Durdanta, Tridasha, the three worlds headed by the demigods, where people live for a fantastic amount of time, enjoy so much sense gratification, Tridasha Pur, but it is Pushpayate, it is just like a dream, phantasmagoria, Prabhupada says, because it lasts for such a brief period of time. 1 second of Brahma's life is 96,000 years of our life. So 1 second of Brahma's life, we take 1,000 births and die. And we think we're going to be here for a long time. And Brahma only lives for the exhalation of Mahavishnu. And there are so many Brahmas coming and going every, within cosmic creation. They just considered his life as like a flash of lightning in the sky. And we live for 1,000th of a second of his life, and we think we're going to be here for a long time, working so hard to become happy in the material world, take care of all our problems, pay the mortgage, have our teeth checked out, do our exercise, take our vitamin pills, see that our eyes are checked properly, and then finally everything's all right and we die. So this is called a flower in the sky. And Kaivalya Narakayate, ultimately in the mode of goodness, we're trying to become the liberators. We're trying to become liberated from all material problems and liberate others through our great mercy and learning, whatever else we have. So in the mode of passion, in the mode of ignorance, we want to be the controller. We work to get mystic power. And in the mode of goodness and passion, we want to become the enjoyer, go to the heavenly planets, or as Purnachandra Maharaj said, that, as Krishna says very nicely, that this is all demoniac. Idam adyamaya labdva, imam prapsemato ratam, idam astiyamapi me, bhavishyati purardhanam, asomaya hatak shatror, hanishe chaparan api, ishvaraham hambogi, saraham balavan sukhi. Adyo vijaravan asmi, kaunyo sti sadri shomaya, yakshe dashyami modishya, ityagana vimohitaha. So much is mine, the mode of passion, or the mode of ignorance actually, and I'll get more and more in the future. So much wealth do I have, and in the future I'll get more and more. He is my enemy, and I've killed him, and all my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am perfect. I am powerful, and I am happy. I am surrounded by rich and aristocratic relatives. I shall perform some sacrifice. I will give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. But Krishna says this is all ignorance. This is all an imagination. So, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur vida bhajante mam jana sukritina arjuna artar jignasya artarati gyani cha bharatar shiva. So even when we come to devotional service, we should understand we're also somewhat afflicted by the modes of material nature. This desire to become the controller, this desire to become the proprietor, this desire to become the liberator, the savior of others and ourselves. This is the neophyte devotee, this is what he's afflicted by. Therefore, when he's more predominantly in the mode of goodness, predominantly in the mode of ignorance, still identifying oneself with the gross body and subtle body, then he's trying to get free from his afflictions from the material energy by finding some nice situation, nice place to sleep, nice food, nice this, nice that. And when he becomes a little bit more elevated, well, first of all, when one stops one's sinful activities, then one realizes that actually my miseries are not caused by my lack of sinful activity, which most people think. They think they're suffering because they're not having enough illicit sex, enough intoxication, enough gambling and meat eating, but they're actually suffering because of these activities. So when one stops the activities, then one can gradually understand that I'm suffering because of these activities, and if I give them up mentally, then I'll become more satisfied. Then it's not enough just to give up negative things. Now I want a nice, happy life, nice family, nice fresh air, nice food, nice house, nice this, nice that, and praying to Krishna, please Krishna, I'm your faithful servant, and I know you're faithful too to your servants, so I know you and you know me, so anyhow, my birthday's coming up and you know what to do. I don't ask for anything because you know everything I want. But when one becomes tired of that, it's the same fresh air, the same prasad every day, even though it's nice, everything is nice, but there must be something more. I'm still not satisfied, and therefore, dantendriya kalasapapatali prokatedam strayate. Now let me control the material nature like the Kshatriyas, get my following, get my power, make everyone in line with the way I think the world should run, and then I'll be happy. So even when one becomes powerful, whatever, one is still not satisfied. Finally, one realizes, this place is miserable, I can't be happy here, I can't be God here, so let me leave here and become God in the spiritual world. Virgin, Brahman, Kaivalya, where everyone will agree with me because I'm the only one there. And therefore, we have unanimous decision on every vote. So these are all actually sources of problems for the conditioned soul, fear of a personal spiritual identity, unidentification with the material energy, thinking that there's nothing beyond the material nature, and ultimately this frustration over the void conception of life. They're all mixed into the modes of material nature and material conceptions of life. And even as devotees, we're not 100% convinced that I'm not this body. And even if I'm not the body, still there's something that the body has to do with me, or whatever confusing idea we have about who we are. It's all mixed into the modes of nature. And therefore we look at the material nature and think, maybe there's nothing beyond it. And when we become a little bit more absorbed in spiritual consciousness, we think, I am not this body, but who knows who I really am. I could be a blade of grass. That would be quite frustrating to realize that. After so many years of devotional service, I realize my sarup, and I realize I'm a blade of grass. And all I do is sway in the wind forever. Everyone, and during the rasa dance, the only relationship I have with Krishna is he keeps on stepping on me all the time with his associates, which is nice, but doesn't even happen all the time. And I don't want to be a blade of grass. But that's who I am, so what can I do? Better to be an illusion. So we have a fear of personal spiritual identity in the mode of passion, and ultimately in the mode of ignorance, we're just frustrated by everything. So these are all material conceptions of life caused by our absorption in the modes of nature. But of course, as it says here, it's not all bleak and dreary and depressing. That, as it says, that Goram eva stumaha. By the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, rather than trying to go through the process of karma yoga, jnana yoga, astanga yoga, trying to come up to the platform of bhakti yoga and struggle, that if we take part in the Sankirtan movement, that we simply accept, at least theoretically, that we're Krishna's servants, and that we should dedicate our energy to his service, and we should do it in a regulated way, because we're not spontaneous lovers of Krishna, because we're not even aware of Krishna very much. And when we do become aware of Krishna, then we become spontaneous lovers of Krishna. But now we have, if we're not completely overwhelmed when we hear the holy name, see Krishna directly before us, and just shiver in ecstasy and try to hold on so we don't faint, then we probably should follow regular principles of devotional service. Get up in the morning, come to Mangalarti, chant Hare Krishna, worship the deities, wash our hands before we eat prasadam. There are so many and even after, that there are so many rules and regulations to follow to help us remember Krishna and utilize Krishna's body in his service, specifically, as we've said many times before, as I've said, for the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to help people remember that's awaken within them the fact that they're actually Krishna's servants. They're not supposed to be servants of their gross and subtle material bodies. They're supposed to be servants of Krishna. And if they can serve Krishna even a little bit, then their life becomes successful in the sense that at least for that moment that they served Krishna, they did something for themselves and something good for others. In the midst of all kinds of nonsense and foolishness and bewilderment, at least for a moment something was done properly, and that moment will inspire them and give them the opportunity in the future to have another moment in Krishna consciousness until it builds up, and then one day everything will become clear, and they'll wake up to the fact that they are Krishna's servants, that they're not supposed to be servants of gross and subtle material bodies that simply go through old age, disease, and death, and then kick one out to find another body to worship and serve. Therefore, yat kataksha vaibhava bhutam goram eva stumaha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was given us opportunity to chant Hare Krishna, directly associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and according to our development of a service attitude, when we do chant Hare Krishna, we'll actually experience Krishna's presence. Right now, we're not so keen, even though we theoretically would like to be keen, to experience Krishna's presence, because if we got too much of Krishna, we realize Krishna too much, our material life would be spoiled, we'd see that we wasted since time immemorial, that we're unnecessarily in anxiety. But we like to be in anxiety. It makes us feel good. We're a good person. We're suffering for a good cause. I'm better than everyone because I'm suffering more than everyone else for this good cause to make myself the supreme. So because we find it difficult to give up this false ego, this false conception of life, we rather be a big fish in a little pond than a little fish in a big pond, something like that. We want to be something we're not. So it's hard to give up this false ego. But if we try to do it a little bit, engage in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and the practices given to us by Srila Rupa Goswami through our disciple succession, then gradually Krishna will reveal things, reveal our identity, reveal reality to us, gradually, step by step. So we're very fortunate. We had this opportunity. When Srila Prabhupada was here, practically the whole movement understood very clearly what the mission was. Even if they didn't understand, at least they were engaged in the mission to help others become Krishna conscious by distributing books, by doing Harinam, by distributing prasadam, by setting up farm communities, by having Gurukul. Everything was directed towards awakening people's Krishna consciousness, the soul, waking them up again. So this is real vision. Sarabhuteshu yenai bhavam avyam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tad jnanam vidi sattvikam. This is actual spiritual vision. This is actually good vision, is to see everyone as an object of my service to help them become Krishna conscious in some way. And as soon as I forget that, then I must be trying to exploit them. Maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way, maybe in an in-between way, but it's all based upon some false ego conception of life, which will not be ultimately good for me, nor for anyone else. I may feed the hungry, help the poor, take the little old ladies across the block so she can rob the bank. But ultimately it won't be very beneficial for myself or anyone else. But if I chant Hare Krishna, I distribute prasadam, I distribute transcendental knowledge in the form of books, or in the form of education, that will be good for myself. And as Prabhupada said, as Prabhupada's spiritual master told him, it'll be good for others too. So, thank you. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Haribol Prabhu. On your statement about the Swarup, and if you're not satisfied with it, and I understand devotional service is joyfully performed, if your Swarup's not adjusted, would that be a conflict or something? I'm not quite sure how it works.
Well, I don't know if I'm a blade of grass. So I'll find out soon, hopefully, sooner or later. But no, when in the spiritual world we have a material conception of life, of what we think spiritual life is like. We compare it to material life. But in the spiritual world, everyone is happy with their position. No one wants to be anything else other than what they are. And no one is limited there. It is not that if I'm a blade of grass, I'm just kind of like restricted, and I'm just sitting there just hoping, No, the blades of grass, if they want to, they can move, they can talk, they can eat, they can do everything. Because they're all chinmayi, they're all spiritual. They all have interactive senses. When Krishna is enjoying with his devotees, they're also enjoying with his devotees. Everything, the bliss, they have full capacity. They have bliss and knowledge there in the consciousness. No one misses out. Anything else? Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj, for such a nice class. I was wondering, how does one come to come to engage in devotional service, come to the path of becoming a devotee when following the regular principles may be an issue, or chanting Hare Krishna may be not something that one's comfortable with?
Well, you seem to ask two questions. Has one become a devotee in the midst of problems that we encounter in our progress through devotional service?
Well, I mean, I meet a lot of people who are very favorable to the philosophy, but they maybe have trouble kind of following the regular principles and don't really see why they should chant Hare Krishna.
What part of the philosophy are they favorable towards?
I guess sort of the Gyan part.
The what?
Just the part that they're not the body, and
it's people, we give them prasadam. We don't immediately tell them, Generally, we say chant Hare Krishna, that you can chant Hare Krishna, but we don't say 16 rounds a day from now on. No, we give them prasadam, we try to be friends with them, let them read the books, and then gradually they'll become purified. I mean, Krishna said he doesn't expect that as soon as one comes to devotional service, it's all going to be bliss and knowledge forever. He said, Yadagre tadagre vishamiva parinami ritopramam tatsukam satikam progdam atma buddhi prasadajam. That which in the beginning is bitter like poison, and at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. So at the beginning it's very bitter for people, even for us. I mean, how much, when we chant Hare Krishna, we think, oh my God, I can't stop. 16 rounds is not enough, I have to chant at least 300 today. No, we're checking our counter beads, making sure, wow. As number 15 goes down, we're thinking, I'm feeling better already. 16, oh, my heart has become soft. So what to speak of an ordinary person who doesn't follow any regular principles, have no idea what we're talking about. So we expect that they're going to be blissful when they chant Hare Krishna. No, it's going to be bitter. But that Krishna nama charitati sutapta vidya hitopatapna rasanasya nirojikanu kinvadarada nudinam saiva kala jushta sadi kala bhavati tadkala mulahandri. The holy name and form, quality, and pastimes of Krishna are just like sugar candy. They're so sweet. But the one who has the disease of avidya, or ignorance, or who has the jaundice of avidya, cannot relish anything sweet. But it is wonderful how by simply chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish will awaken with one's tongue, and the disease of avidya, or jaundice, will be destroyed at the root. So we try to feed people a little bit, give them a book, a little prasadam, say something nice to them, encourage them, so that they like the devotees, and they'll come and maybe come to the temple and take a little bit more prasadam. And gradually, they'll develop, just like we're gradually trying to develop. If we think these people are crazy, well, we just have to sit down and write down when we're chanting japa what we're thinking. Find out we have a little bit of their problems too. We understand things theoretically too, but we don't always apply everything. Yes?
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, sometimes I've had people will ask, like, like objectively, what's the difference between doing some kind of like welfare work or something and having some, sometimes people will say, well, just because you're doing some kind of religious or some kind of spiritual duty, does that automatically make you unselfish? Is there objectively some difference?
Those are two different points. One is doing welfare work, and the other is the consciousness of the person who's doing it. So I may be doing welfare work, just like you may be drowning in the ocean. I dive into the ocean, save you, but I'm getting paid for it because that's my job. So you can't say, well, it doesn't count that you saved me because you were getting paid for it. No, I'm happy you saved me, even if you're getting paid for it. But if you find your child drowning in the ocean, you dive and save it, you're saving him out of love. So it's a different mood also. So still, at least the person who's drowning in the ocean, you may think, well, I don't love the person, why should I bother saving him? No, it's your duty to do that. So we do our duty, and then hopefully our attitude will change. We'll become out of love, and we become actually conscious of Krishna. But if we're not in love with Krishna, we're not conscious of him, then how can we expect that everything we're going to be doing is selfless? It's not possible. So we're doing it dutifully. We're doing it because Krishna wants us to do it. And Krishna says if you keep on doing it like that, eventually, as I reveal myself to you, then gradually your love for me will increase. And one day you'll do it out of love for me. But your love, the love now is that we're following his instructions. One time I sent Srila Prabhupada some money for the book fund, the Bhagavad Gitas that we were selling. And Prabhupada wrote me back, he said, thank you very much for this contribution of love. So for me, I did it out of duty. It wasn't purely out of love. I was supposed to do it. But Prabhupada saw it as an offering of love. So doing our dutiful activities to please Krishna, that are pleasing to Krishna, is also a kind of love, which will awaken our pure love in the future. But not that I do anything, and in the end I call it, say it's for Krishna. No, we do find out what Krishna wants, and then we try to do it for him in a way that's pleasing to him, and then that will help us develop our actual feelings towards him. Okay, so, thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.